Hi, my name is Alejandro Enriquez. I'm faculty at Victoria College and an experienced Quidditch coach. And in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to volunteer at a Quidditch event. So, at a Quidditch event, there's obviously people who may be needed to man the booths and run the tournament itself, the tournament director who handles what teams are playing, what games. But I'm going to focus a little more specifically on, for each individual Quidditch match, the volunteers that are needed. How many people you actually need in order to operate effectively. So, there's two volunteers that you absolutely must have in order to run an official Quidditch game. You need a head ref and you need a snitch. If you don't have a head ref and you don't have a snitch, you're not going to play real Quidditch. It's just that simple. So the other volunteers are all important, but they're a little bit of a luxury compared to having those first two. So I'm going to talk first about the snitch because they're a little bit different than the other officials who are all what we call referees. The snitch is a game official, but they're not really a referee. Their job is not to enforce the rules. Instead, they are an athlete. They're a neutral athlete who's not on either team. Their goal is to protect the snitch tail that they have velcroed onto the back of their shorts, or maybe possibly in a sock stuffed down their shorts if they don't have Velcro. And their goal is simply to prevent the snitch from being pulled, the snitch tail from being pulled by either seeker on either team. It's important not to show favoritism. It's important to spend your time approximately in the middle of the field. You can run around back and forth. You can be physical and throw people around and prevent them from catching the snitch. But whatever you do, it's important to maintain that neutrality. If you see something happen, you can notify other game officials, just like any other game official. But that's not really your purpose. Your job is to protect the snitch tail with your athleticism. So it's the neutral athlete rather than a game official in the referee's sense of the word. Now, all the other positions I'm going to talk about are actually referees. Now, obviously, some of them have the name referee in their name. So I'm going to talk about head ref, assistant ref, skull refs, the timekeeper, scorekeeper. They're all referees. All of them are empowered and authorized to call the rules, enforce the rules as they see fit. But it all comes back up to the head referee. So the head referee is the official who manages the game. They manage the, basically they spend most of their time watching the quaffle, watching the scoring ball. And they're watching basically for all the rules, but especially for contact fouls, especially for things like illegal tackles. So if you're tackling someone from behind, if you're tackling them around the neck, if you're grabbing and pulling their broom out, if you're tripping them, if you're punching or elbowing or taunting, any of those are illegal, and the head ref they're normally happening around the quaffle. That's a head ref during the game watches. It's important the head ref be mobile and actually be moving from one side of the field to the other following the quaffle. In many games, there's also what's known as a lead assistant referee, who is basically another head ref. The head ref himself is the one who actually awards the cards, the yellow, blue, and red cards, depending on the severity of the foul. Obviously, blue cards are for very minor technical infractions, doing illegal things that affect the gameplay but aren't dangerous to anyone. Yellow cards are for dangerous fouls, like contact fouls, like illegal tackles and so forth. And then red cards are for egregiously dangerous illegal things. Or a second yellow is an automatic red as well, similar to association football or soccer. The head ref and the lead assistant ref are usually both qualified head refs, but you know, in the case where the lead assistant ref may sometimes be more experienced and is in fact helping the head ref to pass their referee test, or is assessing them on whether they're qualified to be a head referee. So they are going to be moving back and forth. The nice thing about having the head ref and the lead assistant ref is they can be on opposite sides of the field, moving back and forth with the ball, and they're more likely to have good angles on seeing who is committing what fouls, and they're able to see it, and so they won't miss as many calls. So the head ref, and then optionally the lead assistant ref, they're the ones that also vocalize. So they're the ones who are saying, the head ref is the one who has the whistle, who will blow 2 short blasts on the whistle to stop play.
Oh! Where's my time, please?
They will be the one to award cards. They'll be the one to continue play with remount, resume play on my whistle, and then blow 1 blast on their whistle to keep the play going. They're the ones who put their hands up to signal that a score has been made. Potentially, although they're always the head ref should always confirm, should always be in contact working as a team with their other refs because they may not always have the best angle. And the lead assistant ref basically functions as a second head ref. Now I want to talk about the next 2 refs that matter are the assistant refs. There's normally 2 assistant refs, and they normally watch the beater play. And what happens there is that they are watching the bludgers, and what they're doing is they're calling beat when someone is hit by a bludger from the other team.
Back. Blue beat.
If they are not hit, if they block it or catch successfully, it's important for the beater refs or the head or assistant refs are called either one to call clear or safe. Either one is legal. When you call that safe or clear, that tells the person that don't need to get off my broom. If someone is hit by a bludger and they start to get off their broom and you call them clear, they can get back on broom. That's new in Rulebook 10. If you come off broom, you can back on broom, you're good. The beater refs are empowered to award cards, especially contact fouls, like behind the back tackles, and also what's a very common illegal move by beaters is that they will charge another beater and they'll get beat, and then after they're beat, they'll slam into the other beater. That is illegal, that is a yellow card. Assistant refs often will see that, they'll say, beat. What's important to happen that the assistant refs need to realize is they can raise their hand and call out to the head ref, ref stop play, ref stop play. And the ref should stop play and they're going to say, hey, this person just did this, that should be a yellow card. And the head ref probably didn't see it because the beaters are normally playing over here and the chasers are playing over here. And so it's important for the head ref to trust his assistant refs and award the card without having seen it themselves. One of the things that beater refs can look for is correctly calling immunity. The beater refs, both assistant refs, need to know where the bludgers are. Because if a beater puts up their fist above their shoulder, they're claiming a loose bludger, but they can only do that when both of the other beaters have bludgers. So if one of the opponents does not have a bludger, it's illegal to do this, no matter whether it's on the ground or whether the other beater has or something. The beater refs need to know at all times where the bludgers are, who has possession of them, so that they can say that's an illegal, it's deceptive fisting is the technical term for it. It's an illegal move. There's no way the head ref's ever going to be able to catch that. The head ref's too busy watching the quaffle play, ensuring there's no delay of game penalties and things like that. So we have the head ref and the lead assistant ref. The assistant refs, there's usually 2. There's also another official called the snitch ref, who basically functions as a third assistant ref for the first part of the game, the first 18 minutes of the game where there's no snitch on the field. The snitch ref is simply another assistant ref. When the snitch comes on pitch, then the snitch ref ceases to function primarily on watching the beaters and instead watches the snitch and ensures that snitch pull is legal. The snitch cannot be impeded, cannot be held or grabbed or body grabbed or charged in any way by the seekers, and the snitch ref needs to watch the seeker play. It's also very important, by the way, I want to mention this. When the snitch goes down or when the tail comes off without getting caught, like if it falls off or the seeker pulls it and can't maintain control, the snitch has to fix it. The assistant ref, the snitch ref usually puts it back on them. And then it's very important that the snitch ref count 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. and then gesture in some way that the snitch is now legal to be caught again. It's very important to mention this because there was a very high-profile game, the summer of 2015, where the snitch had his tail come off and he put it back on. The snitch ref failed to count to 3, so the seeker in the seeker's head counted 3, 2, 1 and caught it because he was behind the snitch and snitch didn't see him. That catch should have been rolled good, but it was correctly rolled no good because the snitch ref had made the mistake of not counting out loud for everyone to know when the snitch was legal to catch again. So that was a failure of and unfortunately, ref failures lead to game changes. That's something that we have to live with. It's important to do the best job we can. And it's important for us as players to be understanding of the refs who are doing the best they can. So we have the the head ref, the lead assistant ref, the 2 assistant refs, and then the snitch ref. Those are the officials who are moving around on the pitch watching gameplay. It's important. It's most important that they not be wearing a jersey that could be confused for either team. And in fact, wearing the black and white stripes jersey is strongly recommended. The next refs we should talk about are what's called the goal refs. The goal refs stand behind each hoop, one behind each hoop. They watch the gameplay, and their job is, their primary, most important job is to confirm that a goal has been scored. Right? If they see a goal has been scored, they put their hands up. If they see a goal has been scored, has not been scored, if it misses the hoop, they put their hands out to the side. Different head refs will tell their goal refs different instructions on how they want certain calls to be made. So for example, if someone is beat and then releases the quaffle on a shot which is successful, some refs want their goal refs to call that no good because they were beat before. Some head refs will simply say, all I care about is I want to see if it went through the hoops. Put your hands up and I'll adjudicate the beat, or the beater refs will adjudicate the beat. So it's important to coordinate with I've even seen some refs who want the hands up and the head shake because the goal refs saw that they were beat first. In general, the goal ref is a referee, even though you're stationed behind the hoops. You should never use your defense, oh, I'm just a goal ref. No, you are an official, just like any other. You adjudicate whether that went through the hoops or not. That's your most important task. Goal refs have a couple other important jobs. One is to fetch the quaffle if it flies off pitch. If there's a hard boundary, which there should be, the goal ref is the one who calls turnover, meaning the goal ref's the only one who can see where the boundary is and where the quaffle has gone past the boundary and say turnover to the defensive team. And the goal ref also has to fix the hoops if they get knocked out. If they get knocked over, something, the goal ref has to fix them. Finally, the goal ref has another responsibility that's not frequently discussed, which is to watch the substitutions that are occurring on their side to make sure that they're legal substitutions, that the person who is subbing out is on broom, has stayed on broom all the way to the off field, and then traded the broom to the new person who then comes on field. It's very important that that be executed correctly. Especially newer teams often don't substitute correctly. They'll come off broom, or sometimes they'll even not tag. They'll get beat and they'll run back without tagging back in. That they have to go and tag back in at the hoops before they can sub out. So that's the goal ref's responsibilities. Now it's very important to stress those responsibilities because anyone can be a goal ref. Any player can be pulled at any time and say, we need you to goal ref for this game. And we usually put a lot more energy into making sure we have qualified head refs, qualified assistant refs, qualified snitch refs. But goal refs are just anyone, but you still have a number of responsibilities that you have, and so I wanted to make sure that's clear. So in addition to all these refs who are on the field, there are normally two officials. You can do one if it's a pinch, to one person doing both, but it's kind of tough to do. You're supposed to have two officials at the penalty box, which is on one side of the field in the middle. One side of the field in the middle, right at the penalty box, right where players stand when they're serving time for an infraction. There's normally a scorekeeper and a timekeeper there. Now, the scorekeeper's job is very obvious. They keep score. Anytime there's a goal, they confirm with the head ref, right? Because sometimes people will clap and cheer, and the goal ref put their hands up. But the head ref's like, no, I beat before. The the scorekeeper needs to confirm with the head ref that that is a score, and they will change it on the board if there is one, or on a whiteboard, or whatever you need to do to keep score. Very important to do that. The scorekeeper has to do that. The timekeeper has to keep time. The timekeeper's job is a little complex, because the timekeeper is supposed to stop their timer anytime the ref stops play. So it's 18 minutes to the seeker floor of play time, not of minute time, because anytime the ref stops play to award a card, or to turn the ball over, or to have a discussion, you stop the watch, you stop the clock. And the 18-minute time mark is the most important, because that is when the snitch is released. The snitch is now, the seekers are released, and they can go after the snitch. But in most, not in Major League Quidditch, but in the other types of leagues, you have to continue keeping track of the time, because the snitch becomes handicapped as time goes on. After 5 minutes, if the snitch hasn't been pulled, they have to stay on the midline. If they haven't been pulled for another 5 minutes, they have to go to one hand. And if they have not been pulled for another 5 minutes, meaning 15 minutes after being released, so 33 minutes in, they have to stay in one place, which is on the opposite end of the field from the penalty box, right there in the middle. So that is where they have to stay within 1 yard of a little box for themselves. So that's the timekeeper has to keep track of that. And the timekeeper and the scorekeeper can collaborate. They can, correct each other and update each other as needed. The other thing that they also do, they keep track of the seekers, and the seekers are released at 18 minutes. If the seeker has a false start, they start before the either the timekeeper or scorekeeper, probably a scorekeeper, but one of them can call that, ref stop play. The ref will stop play, and you award them a blue card for false start. Additionally, if someone is in the penalty box and they're released from the penalty box, first of all, they're normally in the penalty box for 1 minute, which is the timekeeper's job, unless the team gets scored on, which is the scorekeeper's job. So they have to work together to make sure that the person's in the box for 1 minute or until their team gets scored on. At which point, unless it's a red card, then it's 2 minutes with no release, early release. They also have to make sure that the person who is released is off broom and goes and tags back in before they can start play. That is very important, because you can get a yellow card for playing when beat or when off broom, and get a second yellow and get kicked out of the game. So make sure you time the scorekeepers that you have, like any other ref, you have the privilege of letting someone know they're about to do something illegal if you see them about to do so. For example, if a beater is in the penalty box and then they're released because 1 minute ran out, and they run over to a bludger in front of them on broom, you can warn them you're off broom. Because the moment they pick up that bludger and become part of the gameplay, they have committed a cardable offense. And so normally that reminder is all it takes for them to be oops. Right? Same thing with the goal refs. You can remind someone who is going to sub out, who's off broom, tag in before you sub out. And they'll be like, oh crap, okay, yeah, I knew that. Right? So it's very important that we maintain the integrity of the game, but the referees are not out to get players. You're there to collaborate with them. So there's two other volunteer positions I want to talk about. So we have all of the game officials: the head ref, the lead assistant ref, potentially, the assistant refs, the snitch ref, who functions as an assistant ref for some time, the goal refs, the timekeeper and the scorekeeper, and who are at the penalty box area, and then these are not official game positions, but every game should have a videographer, because this Quidditch video that we're shooting is very valuable in order to let people know what the sport is like, in order people can see how much fun it is, and people enjoy watching themselves on film and sending it to their friends, especially when they do well, when they get to dunk on people and make highlight reels. The videographer is a very important position that we should hopefully have at every tournament, for every event. A videographer is someone with a camera, and they are probably standing either in midfield or maybe off to or on the side of the field, but kind of around the middle, or maybe off to one side or the other a little bit. It's often a good idea to be on the opposite side of the field from the scorekeeper and timekeeper for the simple reason that it's easier to see the substitutions. You're not in the way of anyone there. And the other thing is that it's often helpful to provide some commentary for your film, but you want to make sure that you're doing it in a neutral way, unless you're shooting it specifically for your team, and then it's okay to make fun of your friends and go cordially inside jokes or drag the other team or whatever. You don't know who's watching your video. Unless you know who's going to watch your video, you should always try and provide commentary in a relatively neutral manner, saying, this is what's happening, that's what's happening. That's not required. In fact, having a videographer is not required at all. But this is something that would be very helpful to help Quidditch continue to grow, is having film that people can watch. The other volunteer position is a photographer. And again, we don't need to have a photographer, but it's very helpful because people like seeing pictures of themselves playing Quidditch. And so the better your camera is, the better position you have. Something you can't control everything. There might be lighting issues or rain issues or whatever. But if you're able to get pictures of people playing Quidditch, and then if you have a Facebook page where you have your photography, we can upload them or things like that, often people will be very grateful to you. The Quidditch community often emphasizes very strongly photographer credit. So if you release the pictures, you should say who to credit. Just put your name or your name photography or whatever. And if you want to see examples of very high quality, entertaining Quidditch pictures, you can see two different types of them. One of them is Quidditch by Will on Facebook, and the other one is another Facebook, which is Jessica Jimin Lang Photography, which both of those are excellent Quidditch photographers. Just giving both of them a shout out, because I've met both of them personally. There's lots of other great Quidditch photographers that you can see awesome Quidditch pictures. So if you want to join in on that, that's another volunteer position that is needed. Alright, so to final recap, every Quidditch game should have a head ref, preferably a lead assistant ref, preferably 2 assistant refs and a snitch ref, 2 goal refs, a timekeeper, a scorekeeper, and then hopefully a videographer and a photographer. So hopefully that helps you understand what is required in order to participate in Quidditch without being a player. Thanks for watching.